Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. Bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Streaming live on the Foundation Podcast YouTube channel, here's Nick and Matt.
So I want to get your opinion on what you think, because I think you mentioned like player of the year a minute ago in one of the conversation points you were making. You didn't necessarily say you were, but what do you think it would take? Or maybe you think you are, but what do you think it would take for you to be player of the year at this point? And just to set that up for you, you just won your 13th DGPT event, okay? And that's 2 behind the most ever, which was by Paul McBeth. If you win 2 more, you're tied for the most DGPTs ever. What's it going to take for you to be player of the year if you don't think you are already?
So I think it's going to be USDGC or a Pro Tour Finals. If I can win one of those, I think it would, for me in my eyes, with the field that you have to beat and the amount of, I guess, points and stuff and the way we look at these tournaments, those 2 are pretty big events. And so I think if I win one of those, I think I would be able, depending obviously on my finishes, that's the other thing is, we're trying to win, but also there's something to be said for consistency too, as throughout a season, because, you're not going to win every tournament as much as that's what we want to do as top athletes. We want to win every time, but you also want to have solid finishes. If you win and then you're getting 20th the next week, it's like, versus someone that wins and then gets a top 5, that's, that's a lot more valuable in my opinion as an athlete, being able to sustain that level of play even when you're not winning. So and it's a lot harder to do. Obviously it's easier, I win this week and then go into Ledgestone and maybe just have a mental hangover and not play as well and get 20th. Obviously that's not what I'm trying to do, but if I come out and have a good showing and have a chance to win, or like I said, get a top 5, that's big. So I think it's going to come down to the USDGC and the Pro Tour Finals, to be honest. I know there's a match play coming up. I don't know exactly how that's going to play out as far as what it looks like. It's a first time event, so I'm excited to play it. It's a new format and everything. And yeah, so I think if I had to pick 2 tournaments that I think is going to make the difference, it's those 2.
Wow. I appreciate your insights there. I thank you for sharing that. Nick, maybe you have a question.
Yeah. Kind of talking on the player of the year talk. The 3 people on that final card, you, Eagle, and Paul, you guys are all arguably playing as the player of the year this year. Going into that final round, you're tied with Eagle, you're 2 strokes above Paul. Does that kind of amp you up to feel like you need to play your absolute best because those 2 are on your card with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime any of us are in the hunt with one of us following, I think we know subconsciously that it ain't going to be, it's not going to be a walk in the park, and we're not just going to be lollygagging to a win. You're going to have to be making long putts, throwing drives, clutching up at the right time, and really make the shot when you need to. So I think that, it's almost a motivational thing for me, because it's like, I know if I want to win, which I do, that's what I have to do. And not that you can, if you're competing against anyone else, not to downplay anybody else, but we've just been in that spot so many times that there is something to be said for getting yourself in that spot and then succeeding and knowing how to handle the situations. And the more and more you put yourself there, the more you feel comfortable and the more you know how to react with situations. And when someone puts the pressure on you by making a putt like Eagle did on 16, he made a nice putt. I had to respond. And, it was a huge turning point. So momentum and situationally being aware of when you need to make that shot, you have to make that shot, is so important, because obviously every putt's important, but you sometimes throughout a round, you can feel a shift, a 1-stroke shift could mean the tournament on, 13, 14, 15, like you saw when I made that long putt on 14.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was that. I think that was the momentum shift that I needed. I gained a stroke behind Eagle and set myself up to make a run at the win. If I don't make that, I don't think I win the tournament. Just because situationally momentum and everything that happened. So I think that's just such a big advantage for us that we have, is we're just more times than not, week in and week out, we're competing. We'll either be competing for the win or winning. And I think that's, this tournament was a kind of like I guess a replay of what's been happening this year. One of us 3 has been winning pretty much every tournament.
Yeah. So coming up, I think there's what? Oh, I just realized we lost Ricky's audio at least. I don't know if that's for everybody. We've had a few issues. But that's okay. So here's my question. The remaining events, what do we have left? 4 events, 5 events, Disc Golf Pro Tours? It's something like that.
Yeah, I think we got this one. We got Ledgestone, Idlewild, Green Mountain, and I think we have Delaware's and NT.
Yeah, and then MVP Open.
MVP, yeah. So
Okay.
So yeah, we got a decent amount left.
Do you have any preference towards any of those as far as the ability or the feeling of you have an advantage at a course? Or do you see each of the remaining ones as like, I don't know, how does a pro player do that? Do you kind of check off like, ooh, I really have a good chance at this one? Or do you feel the same about every event from here on out?
Actually, it's funny you say that because like D-Glow last week, it was one of the first tournaments in a while that I just did not feel like myself playing. My swing and my form was just completely off. I told my tour manager, I go, this isn't going to be a good week, just because I took some time off after Worlds, more than I probably should have, and just I didn't feel my game. I didn't feel myself, and so I was kind of almost using that tournament as like all right, get your game ready, get your form ready for the next stretch of tournaments. We had Preserve, we have Ledgestone, and we have Idlewild coming up. So it was almost like I was sacrificing that tournament to be able to get ready for these next 3. So obviously it worked out this week. I feel like I'm really getting my game back to where I want it to be. So like what you said, there is something to be said for making sure you're ready for the majority of tournaments. And obviously I don't want to have to, take one tournament to be ready for the next. I want to be ready for all of them. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think that I really enjoy Idlewild. I think Idlewild is a type of tournament that you can really get exposed if your game's not on point. You can show up and have a great performance one year and show up with your same game the next year and just get completely different results. Mm-hmm. And that's just because of how punishing the course is. So I think Idlewild is going to be super interesting. I think you'll see a lot more separation. I mean, you still may see us 3 up there. You may not. I mean, that's how the course is. There's potential that's, Conrad, he's a really good woods player, obviously. And a lot of these other good woods players could be in the hunt. But that's just a fluctuation of the course. And there's so many variables out there that are uncontrollable. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see who actually plays well and makes lead card for the final day at Idlewild. That'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to us about this really quick. You've talked about it in the past. Since then, we've probably gained new listeners. Talk to us about the benefits of having a tour manager. You were just speaking about them recently. Talk to us about all the benefits that come through that.
Yeah, so there's so many. But basically, yeah, she helps me with like all my sponsor emails, sponsor contracts. She's helping me with all kinds of sales stuff, making merchandise, planning out Airbnbs, doing fly marts. So just anything you can name, she's doing it. Just to take the burden off of me, so that way I can focus on playing and practicing. She focuses when I'm out on the course throughout the week. She's out at the Airbnb, selling discs or doing something, emailing people back and forth with my sponsors, making sure that all the loose ends are tied up, making posts when I need to. And, working with I have a social media manager now too, who makes posts and stuff for me. And so just delegating stuff that I don't have the time for, that I still can get my posting out, meet my sponsor requirements and all the stuff I need to do. She allows me to stay on top of that. And so it's friggin' amazing. So I think I'm me and her both are setting the bar for what the future I think is going to hold. I think a lot of people are noticing like, hey, this is, first of all, he's playing well. And second of all, they see how amazing of a job she does and how, and the sport's growing enough to where I think there's a number of players that can benefit from this.